All that and more coming up. Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. The crisis in Pakistan is growing as advancing floodwaters have forced more people to abandon their homes. On Thursday, the flooding devastated new areas of southern Punjab, home to half of Pakistan's 170 million population. Over 500,000 people have been evacuated, 250,000 homes destroyed so far. The death toll remains at over 1,600, but is expected to rise. The United Nations says over 4 million Pakistanis have been affected by the flooding, which it calls a major catastrophe. An unknown number of civilians have been killed in a U.S.-led NATO bombing in Afghanistan's Nangarhar province. Afghan witnesses say the victims were in a house in a group of parked vehicles when they were struck by NATO missiles. NATO says it was responding to insurgent fire after an operation in the region. Witnesses say the civilian death toll could be anywhere between a dozen to 32. The deaths come as the Afghan government has put the number of Afghan civilians killed in a U.S. Marine attack in Helmand province last month at 39. The victims were inside a house where Taliban fighters had taken up positions on the roof. The U.S. contends the civilian toll is far lower at 6 deaths. The Pentagon is demanding the whistleblower website WikiLeaks hand over its entire cache of classified military documents on the Afghan war and erase those it's already released. WikiLeaks has said it still has 15,000 documents on top of the 76,000 it disclosed last month. Pentagon spokesperson Jeff Morrell called on WikiLeaks, quote, to do the right thing and return the documents in full.
WikiLeaks' public disclosure last week of a large number of our documents has already threatened the safety of our troops, our allies, and Afghan citizens who are working with us to help bring about peace and stability in that part of the world. Public disclosure of additional Defense Department classified information can only make the damage worse. The only acceptable course is for WikiLeaks to take steps immediately to return all versions of all of these documents to the U.S. government and permanently delete them from its website, computers, and records.
In a response on its Twitter page, WikiLeaks commented, quote, obnoxious Pentagon spokesperson issues formal threat against WikiLeaks, destroy everything or else. In related news, the anti-war group Code Pink is holding a rally Sunday at the Quantico, Virginia military base, where the accused military whistleblower Bradley Manning is being detained. Manning's accused of leaking the Afghan war records and other documents, as well as classified video of a U.S. military helicopter killing a group of people in Baghdad. Right-wing groups have announced plans for a counter-protest at the Code Pink rally. BP has finished pumping cement into its ruptured Gulf of Mexico oil well ahead of a permanent blowout operation later this month. National Incident Commander Thad Allen said no further oil well spill into the Gulf until the final bottom kill operation seals the well.
The decision was made last night that the well was in a proper condition where we could cement it. That would increase the integrity of the well as far as potential leak of hydrocarbons and would actually enhance our ability to do the bottom kill. This is not the end, but it will virtually assure us that there will be no chance of oil leaking into the environment.
With the Gulf oil disaster entering a new phase, questions are emerging around BP's plans for the oil that remains beneath the well. There's been speculation BP will try to sell off the reservoir or even resume drilling at a future date to capture the estimated 1.9 billion gallons that haven't spewed into the Gulf. On Thursday, a BP spokesperson declined to comment on the company's plans for the well when asked by the Associated Press. The Senate has confirmed Elena Kagan's nomination to the Supreme Court with a 63-27 vote. Kagan will become the 4th female Supreme Court justice in U.S. history and the 3rd on the court's current bench. She'll also be the first justice in nearly 4 decades without any prior judicial experience, and at 50 years old, the court's youngest member. At the White House, President Obama called Kagan's confirmation a sign of progress.
I am confident that Elena Kagan will make an outstanding Supreme Court justice. And I'm proud also of the history we're making with her appointment.
Chief Justice John Roberts will swear in Kagan on Saturday. In another vote, the Senate confirmed the nomination of retired Air Force General James Clapper as the next Director of National Intelligence. As the former head of the Pentagon's National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, Clapper played a key role in promoting the Bush administration's claim that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction prior to the 2003 invasion. The votes came on the Senate's final day before the summer recess. The Senate adjourned after again failing to finalize a $1.25 billion settlement for African-American farmers in a class action lawsuit over long-time racial discrimination. The settlement was reached earlier this year, but Republicans have blocked the required congressional approval. On Thursday, Republican Senator John Barrasso of Wyoming stalled the measure after Democrats sought unanimous consent for its passage. Mexico's Supreme Court has upheld a law allowing gay marriages in the capital, Mexico City. The law went into effect in March following its passage last year. Mexican gay rights activist Lal Castaneda praised the ruling.
En donde nuestros derechos, los de todas las ciudadanas y ciudadanos, sin distingo.
It's a historic moment in which our rights, the rights of all citizens without differentiation because of sexual preference or orientation, are being recognized by the government, by the laws with the same rights. So of course we're very happy about this first voting, in which the right of people to marry of the same gender is recognized as completely constitutional.
More than 300 couples have wed under the law since its passage.